Well, what's up again, guys? Brian here at 3Tier, here to bring you another episode of my weekly Q&A show, The People's Questions, where I answer your awesome questions that my lovely viewers send to me every week. And to jump right into them, we are starting off with a newbie for the channel, and he goes by a really awesome name of the Elite Helgen, which I'm a big fan of the Killzone franchise. And he wants to know, do I play Destiny at all? If not, why? I used to play Destiny. I played it during the first maybe 2 weeks, and then I got bored of it, and I haven't played it again since. And the reason I don't play it anymore is because it's just repetitive. The fun is out of it. I mean, I think I even stopped playing it before you could even start doing the raids, and because I couldn't find anyone to play the raids with. And so really, when you're done with the main campaign, and when you've played the multiplayer for a good 3 or 4 hours, there's really nothing left to do. I mean, sure, you can level up your character, get better weapons, but how does that change the gameplay? It doesn't. You're just doing the same thing over and over again, and there's no reason to play it anymore. The next 3 questions come from William Lowry. Hope I said that right, like always. And you want to know, do I think the upcoming Ghostbusters reboot will be any good? I don't think it will. I have no interest in this movie at all. The original Ghostbusters still remains one of my all-time favorite buddy comedy films, and I just don't think this is going to live up to it. Next question is, have I seen the X-Files? I've seen both of the X-Files movies, but I've never seen the show. I don't think I've seen an episode of the show completely. Your next question is, if someone gave me $1 million, what are 3 things that I would do with it? Well, first off, I would move out and get my own place and car, but I guess that might consider 2 things, but I consider it as 1. Then I would go to the best university or college I could find and pay for my education so I could get a really good degree in journalism. And then I think with what I have left, I would probably spend 1/4 of that to travel around the country to get to meet all of my lovely subscribers and get to hang out and take all sorts of awesome pictures because you guys are awesome. The next 3 questions come from CRT Gaming, and you want to know, do I ever want to get married? I want my brother to get married, and I want to live to see that, but as for me, I don't think I'll ever get married. I really don't think I could ever find a girl who would, I don't know, find me all that interesting, let alone want to get married to me for any reason. Your next question is, if I could only have one gaming system, which would it be? PlayStation 3, hands down. I did a video a while back going over my top 5 favorite consoles that I've owned, and the PlayStation 3 still remains my favorite console of all time. And the last question is, Mac or PC? I've never actually owned a Mac, so I guess it's unanimously going to be PC. The next 3 questions come from Atlas Ultima, and you want to know, if I were a superhero in the DC universe, what would I call myself and why? I would call myself Black Knight. For the simple reason as I'm black, and I would love to be trained by Batman, and since a lot of his proteges are Knights of Gotham, that the term Black and Knight kind of fits, and it's kind of a really nice name that kind of just flies off the tongue. Next question is, what is my favorite gun in the Resident Evil series? Oh, hands down, the Chicago Typewriter. Love that gun. Love the Tommy gun. Love anything that goes back to old school gangster type weapons, and the Chicago Typewriter is my favorite. Your next question is, who is my favorite Pokemon and why? Bulbasaur, because he is number 1 and he's green, which is my favorite color, and his evolutions stop at 3, which is my favorite number of all time. And I guess out of the original Pokemon, he just kind of seems like the one I would get used to the most. I mean, I know he's kind of like an ugly-looking beast when he gets to Venusaur, but there's just something about Bulbasaur that kind of has a little bit of gentleness to him because he's like a leaf-type Pokemon, and those have always been my favorite types. So I would definitely pick Bulbasaur, which I guess anytime I pick a Pokemon game, I always pick the grass type. The next 3 questions come from Jansen10 Uncle, and you want to know, where do I usually purchase my PlayStation 4 games? Amazon. Always Amazon. The only time I ever have to go somewhere else like GameStop is if they have something that I want from them exclusively. Like, I'd say like the last game that I purchased from them was Beyond Two Souls, and the only reason I got it from there was because they had the limited edition steel box. And the next game that I'm getting from GameStop is going to be my collector's edition of Metal Gear Solid 5, which is going to ship here, which is why I'm buying a second copy for my brother while I'm down there, but only because I couldn't get it on Amazon. The next question is, are there any games that I haven't played yet that I regret not doing so? There's probably a number of games I'm thinking of off the top of my head, but that sounds like a question I would rather save for an entire video, because there's a bunch of awesome games that I know I haven't played, I wish I had, but I just can't think of them right now. And your last question is, what is my opinion on PlayStation Now? It's an interesting service, but for someone like me that likes to hold on to older games, that's not really something I really need to use very often. But I think it's for gamers who want a chance to play games that they don't have a chance to own, or they just can't seem to find. I mean, there are definitely some games I think are good enough to own, but I guess it's maybe just for people who don't want to own the game but want to spend a good amount of time playing it. So kind of like a rental service, which is something I think is okay, but it just isn't for me. The next set of questions come from BooMe78, and you want to know, am I a fan of Godzilla at all? No. Not a big fan of the King of the Monsters. I actually did not see the recent Godzilla movie, nor have I liked any of them, which is a bit ironic because I'm such a big fan of the Green Ranger from the original Power Rangers, and his Megazord, the Dragonzord, is pretty much just a green robot version of Godzilla, so it's a bit ironic that I don't like the original version. Your next two questions are, what are the top 3 games I'm looking forward to playing for the rest of the year? Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain, obviously, Halo 5 Guardian, and Mad Max, which that looks really quite good in my opinion. The next 3 questions come from Corey Roloff, and you want to know, do I think your idea of playing as 5 characters, Dante, Trish, Lucia, Lady, and Sparta in Devil May Cry was a good idea? Well, I actually did a whole video talking about what I wanted in Devil May Cry 5, and I will say the idea of playing as Dante, Trish, Lucia, and Lady is a great idea. I would love for them to do that. However, Sparta, I think, deserves his own game. You can't really do much with Sparta because Sparta and Dante have never met, and they come from 2 completely different time zones, and from what I know, they're 2 completely different characters, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense to have Sparta and Dante in the same game. But definitely having the first work characters in a game, I would absolutely love to see. Your next question is, are there any interesting upcoming PlayStation 4 exclusive games like Until Dawn that will be released in August, or am I interested in it? Well, I recently saw some gameplay of it, and it doesn't really look like the type of game I like to play. It kind of reminds me of Silent Hill, which means it's going to try to scare me. And for those of you who've watched my channel long enough, you would know that video games just can't do that. So I might give it a try. I'm not sure if I'll do like a live stream of it, but you know, it's PlayStation 4 exclusive, so I'll definitely play it and review it if I have time. But yeah, I'm not too excited to play it, but I'll play it, you know, nonetheless. And your last question is, what are my best to worst Killzone games? Okay, I'm gonna do it in order from best to worst. Killzone 2 is my favorite, followed by Killzone 1, then Killzone 3, and then Killzone Shatterfall. I didn't get a chance to play Liberations, but if I know it's on the PSP, but from what I saw from gameplay, I don't think that's really something I would enjoy playing too much. And the last set of questions coming from Mr. Firefly246, and you want to know, since Final Fantasy 15 will be my last Final Fantasy game that I'll be purchasing, will I be getting the Final Fantasy 7 Remake? Yes, I did say that Final Fantasy 15 will be my last Final Fantasy, but it's going to be my last Final Fantasy game in consecutive order. The Final Fantasy 7 Remake is something that not just me, but thousands of fans have asked for, so this still kind of fits in the department of Final Fantasy games. I just want to get games 1 to 15. I don't want to get 16, 17, 18. I'm stopping at 15. So if they do release any Final Fantasy games that take place in between that area, I don't mind getting. Like, I would love for them to do a remake of 8 or 9. Alright, even do a sequel to 10 too, which, you know, I heard rumors about it years ago, which I think that's been kind of canon at this point. But yes, I will be getting the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Your next question is, what is my general outlook on Kojima's future? Well, I really hope he goes back into the gaming industry. I'm sure there's tons of gaming studios that would hire him to put his creative mindset to their franchises. So I don't think this is the end of gaming for him. But if it is, then I would respect his choice to not want to go back into the gaming industry. But if he does, then I think he'll be fine. And the last question is, what do I think Kojima did for Konami to be so angry? You know, I spoke about this to a friend of mine, and I spent days talking about this, and you're gonna call me crazy, but this is legitimately the only thing I can think of, because there is no reason for a company like Konami to be treating its star gaming director like this. And the only reason I can explain this type of behavior is that Kojima must have slept with the CEO's wife. I mean, that is legitimately the only thing I can think of. I mean, if I was the CEO of a company and I knew this guy for, let's say, 20 odd years, the only thing I can think about, to the point where I want to completely erase this guy, I don't want this guy's name on the games that I own, I don't want him to have anything with my company, is if I found out he was having an affair with my wife. Because then I would really want to hate his guts and just want to completely destroy his reputation and his life. Other than that, I cannot think of anything else. If you guys have any ideas, please share them with me. And with that, those are all the questions you guys have for this particular episode. I want to thank all of you guys for making this episode possible. If you guys have any more questions for me for next week, be sure to type them in the comments down below, but make sure to get them into me for next Wednesday before I start filming this. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I'll see you next time.